as Landa said, and I'm honored to be among them, except I'm a bit freaked out about being filmed here. My story wasn't funny at the time, but it became funnier as the years went by, and so I submitted it and it was actually chosen. It's a story about a bathroom and the neighbor's cat. And Joy was going out of town for 5 days, and I knew that I needed to repair the floor in the bathroom because it was getting soggy, because water was leaking down between the tub and the linoleum. So I thought, well, Joy's out of town, I'm going to redo the bathroom. And not really understanding the immensity of a project like that, I started out. And it went well for a while. I found out I had to take the whole tub out and then remove the wall to get the tub out. But I was carrying piles of garbage outside, so that made me feel like I was accomplishing something. I didn't realize at the time that deconstruction goes much better than construction. And so anyway, to make a longer story short, when the time came to pick Joy up at the airport, there was nothing for a bathroom there, but I didn't have the heart to tell her that on the way home from the airport. And when we finally got to the entrance to the bathroom, I said, "Happy Mother's Day." And there was no floor, no walls, no toilet, no sink. And you'll have to read the story in the book to find out what happened at that point. But I'm going to read just a short part of the story because there was another part to the adventure. This is where the neighbor's cat part of the title comes in. Then there was the cat episode. I had almost finished laying the new plywood flooring in the bathroom when I discovered our neighbor's cat checking out our kitchen. I must have left the front door open while I was sawing plywood on the driveway. When the cat saw me, it took off like a shot down the hall and through the open bathroom door. Now, ordinarily, a cat in the bathroom would be easy to spot, but it was nowhere to be seen. There was, however, a 3-foot by 4-foot opening in the floor where I had yet to fasten the last piece of plywood to the floor joists. It didn't take much figuring to guess where the cat had gone. I went outside and left the front and back doors of the house open, assuming the misdirected feline would be sufficiently motivated to find its way out. So I returned after what seemed like a reasonable length of time with a carefully cut final piece of plywood under my arm. No sign of the cat, so I triumphantly fastened this last piece of flooring in place. At 5 a.m. the next morning, my wife and I were awakened by a horrific racket. I sprang from my bed thinking an intruder was in the garage, stumbling over the garbage cans. I bounded down the stairs to the basement. By the time I reached the laundry room that led to the garage, the truth stabbed through the fog in my brain like a bolt of lightning. That cat is trapped under the bathroom floor. It was true. Having passed the dark hours of the night in silent despair, the neighbor's cat had reached a state of panic and in a frenzied scramble for freedom had begun to flail around amid the metal ductwork under the floor. The boys, living proof of the propensity of the typical adolescent to sleep through anything, were blissfully unaware of the pandemonium. Fortunately, the basement had a suspended ceiling, so I didn't have to face the unthinkable prospect of tearing up my precious new floor. Perched on my old aluminum painter's ladder, I gently lifted one ceiling panel in the laundry room, which is directly under the bathroom. The panel seemed heavy, about the weight of a scared cat. I carefully set it down and removed the panel next to it. Slowly, slowly, I raised myself until I could peer through the opening into the blackness. As my eyes adjusted to the dark, I saw the cat, crouched and glaring at me with a wide-eyed stare that gave me the impression it was blaming me for its predicament. The cat wouldn't budge. I couldn't quite reach it and wasn't sure I wanted to. I tried coaxing it. "Come on, kitty, you can trust me." The cat remained unconvinced that it was safe or prudent to do anything I wanted it to do. I suppose it could offer it a saucer of cream, but I doubted it would trust me after what had passed between us. I resorted to the same tactic that should have presented the cat's dilemma in the first place. Leaving the panel open, I walked away, giving it time to make its escape. Actually, I went back to bed for an hour or so to contemplate while my wife twitched and turned beside me. Joy doesn't like cats at the best of times, and knowing there was an emotionally distraught one sitting in our basement ceiling had altered her state of mind. I did make sure that our bedroom door was firmly closed in case the cat carried a grudge. As morning dawned, the solution arrived in the form of our white short-tailed cat bonkers. Unsure of what might transpire, but wanting to create options, I opened the front door and retreated a safe distance. Bonkers must have talked the traumatized fellow feline down, because a short time later the two of them strolled sedately out of the laundry room, up the stairs and out the door. At breakfast, the boys enjoyed a good laugh as I regaled them with a tale of what had transpired while they were sleeping. By the end of the day, joy was even speaking to me again. At last, 3 weeks after the adventure began, it was time to install the shiny new acrylic tub and shower enclosure. Mark and Tim had begun showering at their girlfriend's parents' homes, and my wife, in desperation, edged with vague anger-like emotions, began to shower at the local swimming pool. And it goes on telling about the adventures